Your hand on my chest, my heart beats for you. I keep my arms out and hold you like before. We can fly away from here. We can stay close, my dear. Swept up in the way from all our fears. How are we supposed to know on our own? Together we can go slow. Why don't you leave it all to me? I know how hard it all can be. I'm here to hold your hand through this. Oh, oh. I'll be beside you all along. My love for you is so strong. We're right where we belong. Together we can go slow. I remember the first time we met face to face. Kiss on my neck, how could I forget something that hasn't happened yet? I'm wasting my time, losing my mind over all this wasted time. I know I'm impatient, but baby, give me a chance. I'll do whatever you say. I can't afford to cry any more tears. You turn into all my fears. I want you here with me. I want you here with me. I remember the first time I heard your voice, holding my hand. How could I feel your touch? 'Cause you were nowhere near. I know I'm impatient, but baby, give me a chance. I'll do whatever you say. I can't afford to cry any more tears. You turn into all my fears. I want you here with me. I want you here with me. I want you here with me. I want you here with me.
You better tell the truth real fast, and then we're probably done at last. 'Cause I got somewhere to be, and you're done deceiving me into thinking I couldn't do better. Yeah, I know I was probably crazy, thinking someday you'd change. There's nothing left to do now, so I'm playing the game. And so, heartbreaker, I've been working you out. You made loads of mistakes, but none that you talk about. I'm watching every move you make, and I'm on to you. Come on, heartbreaker, give in and surrender to me. You should have probably let me go, but you've got a porcelain ego, talking fast and punching low, making sure that there are no traces of thinking I could have done better. Yeah, I know I was probably crazy, thinking someday you'd change. There's nothing left to do now, so I'm playing the game. And so, heartbreaker, I've been working you out. You made loads of mistakes, but none that you talk about. I'm watching every move you make, and I'm on to you. Come on, heartbreaker, give in and surrender to me. I've been working you out. You made loads of mistakes, but none you talk about. I'm watching every move you make, and I'm on to you. Come on, heartbreaker, give in and surrender to me. Surrender to me, oh.
Driving down the road that I grew up on once again. It's when I pass your door, the memories come back again. Pictures of us flooding back just like a wave. Makes me wonder what happened, what you're up to today. Remember when we stole your mother's car, we drove for days. Teenagers with too many feelings and rage. We were higher than the ceiling, middle fingers to the sky. I remember thinking if I only could stop the time. Way back when, we didn't care what they said. People could stare, I didn't give a damn, 'cause I was being next to you. Way back when, we didn't care what they said. People could stare, I didn't give a damn, 'cause all I needed was my friend. Way back when, way back when, way back when. Remember when my father taught us how to play guitar, and we started up a band in my garage. We thought our dream would take us so far.